How's it going, guys and geeks? Welcome to the Geekritique show. My name is Dakota.
And I'm Jen.
And today we're going to be talking about the recently renamed Disney streaming service that's coming out in fall of 2019, supposedly, called Disney Plus. It was previously labeled as Disney Play. Which do you think is a better name?
I like Play better.
You like Play better?
I'm not crazy about either.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about either, but I'm not like against either.
I think Play is better than Plus, but they could definitely come up with something better.
Yeah, because I think of like Google Plus, which is like Google's like super failed like social media experiment that they did a few years back.
That's true.
But I do not believe that Disney Plus will fail. Just looking at all the facts, their share of the industry and
Disney owns
forth.
us. They own us all.
So much of the content that we make is related to Disney, and actually they've been probably the best to us, like copyright-wise.
That's true.
I don't know that we have any like outright videos that have been copyright like claimed from Disney themselves, but like maybe if there was a song in a trailer or something.
Like with Thor Ragnarok, the song got us, but then it like got kind of relinquished.
Yeah, we fought that.
So in this video, we're planning on discussing all of the, original TV shows and movies that are going to be released directly to Disney Plus.
Yeah, so we're going to start with Star Wars, then MCU, then Pixar, and everything else that we
have.
More. And more, because there is more. We'll save the best stuff for first, so you guys don't leave us immediately. So, we're going to start with Star Wars. The first thing that needs to be discussed is The Mandalorian, which is the Jon Favreau live-action Star Wars show that has... I think everyone's looking forward to it to an extent. If they've ever watched Star Wars, like, what would a live-action TV show look like?
Like, really freaking cool. Like, really cool.
One of the criticisms we had immediately after watching the first trailer to Star Wars Resistance was that it was too... Kiddie. It was too aimed at children. Versus Clone Wars and Rebels, which...
Could go either way.
Yeah, it could be enjoyed by...
Kind of like Star Wars itself, like anyone can enjoy it.
Exactly. But I feel like this is going to be not a mature show, but aimed at a mature audience. So we're definitely not going to get any like TVMA ratings on these shows, which is sadly why we're never going to get like a Daredevil or like Iron Fist or Luke Cage on this streaming service.
Or on Plus. Crap, it's like in my mind as Play now. I wonder how long it'll take to rewire me.
It'll take you a little while. But yeah, I don't believe we'll ever get those shows on Disney Plus because we're not going to get any rated R films. It's Disney. Remember, we're not getting any TVMA. So this is definitely going to be a wholesome but enjoyable experience, as all Star Wars films to some extent have been. And the idea of like a live action TV show for Star Wars has been like rumored since 2005 when like George Lucas wanted to create his like Star Wars on the World series. So this is finally happening. It's about
very exciting.
It's about a Mandalore who like knows the stories of Jango and Boba Fett according to Jon Favreau's Instagram page, and it takes place between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. So somewhere in that like 30-year gap.
Okay.
So
that's kind of an interesting, point in time.
I think right now that's the most interesting point of time because we've spent so much time
in the past.
In the past, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like, let's have some stuff that's a bit more relevant to the things that we care about. Speaking about the past, Clone Wars, Season 7. That's super exciting. That's super exciting.
A show that was canceled prematurely because Disney took over and wanted to go their own route is finally coming back.
That's really cool.
Yeah, Disney.
Like, I know so many, like, huge Clone Wars fans that, like, I'm sure are just, like, parading the streets proudly right now. Like,
maybe not right now, but after it was announced.
Like, waving Empire flags. Like, you guys are all going nuts.
Well, no, it wasn't. It was... That's pre-Empire.
Oh, okay.
It's Clone Wars era.
Oh, my God.
Okay, semantics. Sorry, but as, as Star Wars fans, we gotta parade our flags correctly. With this, I'm super excited just because, like I said, like we're finally getting a true ending to this series instead of just like it being canceled prematurely for the sake of Rebels, which for better, like I don't know what you guys personally think of Rebels, but I liked it just as much as I liked Clone Wars.
I liked Rebels a lot.
Yeah, that like, what we were talking about before with like The Mandalorian taking place in like the most interesting time period. Clone Wars is a time period we've kind of beaten to death at this point. Not that it isn't an interesting time period, but we know exactly what happens between then and
there's not a lot of mystery.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cool to get like different character developments and things that, you know, we would not have been able to previously see with the characters that we know very well. But yeah, it's still cool. But like I said, there's a lot of untouched time points in canon that I'm really stoked for them to get into.
Sticking in that like pre A New Hope era, we're actually getting another prequel series, live action series, starring Diego Luna as his character from Rogue One, Cassian Andor. He's getting his own series. I don't know if it's a limited series, kind of like the MCU films or shows that we're going to be talking about. Mm-hmm. But the first thing I thought of was, it's a prequel of a prequel. So I don't know how to expect it, or I don't know what to expect of this. I did like Rogue One quite a bit. It's definitely my favorite of the anthology films that they've released. Mm-hmm. And I like Cassian.
Yeah, I think he's a really interesting character, and the actor's fantastic.
But they need K2SO.
He's taking us to...
Quiet! And there's a fresh one if you mouth off again.
We'll take them.
Yes, of course.
That's the only way it'll work. That's definitely the only
naturally.
way. Maybe like their bonding story, or like when they join the rebellion. I'd like to know more of how like he's on such close terms with Mon Mothma.
That's true.
There's definitely potential
she's
there.
A huge character.
So let's talk a little bit about MCU films.
Yes. So the first show we're going to talk about with the MCU is the Scarlet Witch show, which apparently is going to have Vision in it. So it's kind of going to be really cool. To me, they're like two, not the most powerful, but they're like, their power sets, I guess, are individually extremely interesting. So picturing them, it's like a rom-com in the MCU. Mm-hmm. And they're just kind of going around, loving each other, loving the world, saving lives, taking names, kicking... What?
Kick names, take ass.
What I love so much about Scarlet Witch and Vision, while I don't particularly love their MCU adaptation, I still think that they're extremely interesting characters. Mm-hmm. In the comics, she's the daughter of Magneto. She's got a lot of daddy issues. The Vision is just one of like the most powerful artificial intelligence units like out there, and somehow they manage to make a semi-functional relationship together because they genuinely do care for each other, and that develops into love. And we're seeing a bit of that in the MCU currently. I do think their dynamic needs a little bit of work. Mm-hmm.
Is that paprikash?
Hopefully Paul Bettany takes on his role as Vision in this series alongside Elizabeth Olsen.
He's great.
Yeah, Paul Bettany.
I wasn't a huge fan of Elizabeth Olsen, to be honest. Like, I know a lot of our guy friends are like, oh my god, she's so hot. I guess because I'm a woman, it just
she's not the best actor.
I just don't think she's a fantastic actress, but
I think it's actually it's not that she's a bad actress. She's just a bad accentrist. She's bad at her accent. Some scenes it's very American. Some scenes
the
it's
last
very
film it
Eastern
got
European.
better, wasn't it? The last film it got better. Like I feel like she's had more coaching on that because it was like unbearable the first movie she was in, where I was like, what the heck is going on?
Age of Ultron, it was like really thick.
Some scenes and then like non-existent other scenes. Yeah. But anyway, I feel like every time we talk about her, we complain about this. So
yeah, but I am interested, specifically when it takes place. Obviously, all of these shows we're gonna be interested in when they take place because we do have a really large MCU timeline video, which you can click right here to watch. I have a feeling this is gonna take place before Infinity War. So spoilers for Infinity War in this video, obviously, but I think that's gonna take place on the run from the FBI. And
that's what I was picturing when I said like they're just going to be kind of wandering around. There's like a large time period where they just seem to be
2 years. 2 years
they're
that
like
they're by themselves.
Yeah, they're just kicking it. So I have a long feeling. I have a good feeling that it's going to be during that time period.
This is also a limited series, as all of these MCU shows that they have announced for the streaming service are, which means that it might just be one season.
Oh, okay.
Which
it's
makes
anime.
It makes sense. Yeah, the best anime tend to only have one season, unfortunately. Hopefully, like if this is really good, it could start a new precedent of like bridging the gap between movie and TV actors and actresses so that they can have like bigger roles. Which if you come to think about it, like what this is doing to like the dynamic of movie stars and their roles and like the contracts that they provide, this totally incentivizes people to want to work with Disney because they have the potential to be on such a large platform in such a long period of time. Imagine being an actor and knowing I'm going to take this role and it's going to last me 9 months and then I'm going to be out of a job. Or I'm going to take this role, go for 5 to 7 films and like have a sustainable, well-paid job for the next couple of years. That's a lot better.
Yeah, that's true. They must have offered them a lot from the get-go.
Of course,
for them to think like, because to go from like film down to TV with a totally experimental project, like you really need to be well compensated to take those sort of risks. Absolutely. I can only imagine. Absolutely.
And this is like, in my opinion, the biggest, like between the Mandalorian and the Diego Luna show and all of these MCU shows that we're going to be talking about, this is like the biggest competitor that they're trying to build momentum for against Netflix. Because what they have over Netflix are extremely high budget blockbuster films that they can capitalize more on. There's actually a quote from Kevin Feige that basically he says something along the lines of, these shows will help make these stories longer. Like they'll broaden the stories that we know about these characters. So that means to me that the individual plot lines that they have in these films will be expanded on, or we're going to get like prequels or sequels to what they're doing in these films. And I think that's really interesting. And moving on from Scarlet Witch, we have Loki, which I think is probably the most highly anticipated of the films because of the fandom around Tom Hiddleston. It was just announced officially. It was announced officially that Tom Hiddleston will be taking on the role of Loki again in this limited series.
I have to get off this planet.
That's extremely cool because Tom Hiddleston is awesome.
Yeah, he's... First of all, Loki as a character is fantastic. Tom Hiddleston in general is fantastic. I am so excited. I'm just so excited.
Now, Loki is one of the rare characters in the MCU that didn't die from the snap, but he did die by the hands of Thanos.
So it means he's probably not coming back.
As far as we can tell. Obviously, he's escaped death several times. It's possible for him to come back, but it would make the most meaningful death be like this past film. I kind of want him to stay dead, at least for that reason. Like, it's a really good way out of the MCU. Really strong way. But provided this could take anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
In a stream of things. What do you want to see from the
He's super
character?
interesting and he's extremely mysterious. So what do I want to see from the character?
Maybe the time that he was like...
What do I want to see from the character?
Maybe the time that he was like ruling Asgard as Odin.
Nah, to be honest, it's kind of boring. I'm like interested in just seeing him kind of doing random things. Like every episode's like a totally different scheme of his. That he's just kind of like, almost like a Han Solo sort of thing. Like he's just kind of going around, exploring the universe, you know, taking powerful objects, using them to his advantage.
Yeah.
And
I'm guessing he's going to be... I'm guessing these shows in general are going to be about 6 episodes in length. As limited series go, that's a generally safe bet. Hopefully they're like full-length episodes at like 45 minutes each, not just like 20-minute episodes. Because I would feel a little bit gypped on that.
I just picture it kind of like... Not to compare the two actors, but kind of like Sherlock, where like each episode is an individual plot. I would like it to be like, that's what I'm saying, like each episode is him just doing some other kind of adventure. Obviously an arc over the whole thing, but I think it would be really cool if it was not like, you know, a mystery series, but kind of like Loki's just things that he does that I find interesting.
And with Sherlock, it's definitely quality over quantity. Yeah, because they only
that's
have
what I'm hoping
3
for.
episodes per season.
And I don't know why, to me, like when I heard of Loki, my gut reaction was, I hope it's like Sherlock, where it's like really in depth, really interesting, great acting.
I doubt that we're gonna get like hour and a half episodes.
Yeah, that's true.
Unfortunately, it's just that Sherlock is really the only show that actually sticks to that format. But who knows? I don't know, because
it works for Sherlock.
That's like almost the length of a Marvel movie at that point.
Yeah, that's true. So if they want the quality to be really high, they need to.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's expensive.
The next show is Falcon and Winter Soldier, which quite the combo, right?
Yeah.
Like, how much experience have they had together? Like, what scenes have we seen with them? Like,
well,
I mean,
no, they've been in a lot of scenes together, definitely.
or they were on the same side.
They were both fighting Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's just kind of an interesting... Because they, like, hated each other, isn't there? The whole scene where Cap goes and kisses the girl, and then they say something, and he's like, I hate you.
I hate you.
And it's funny, because I thought, like, what a duo. And I'm excited for that, too. I mean, like, for me, I'm a sucker for Marvel, so I'm pretty excited.
Now, what's really intriguing to me about this pairing, I couldn't find online. Some people were saying that these were two different shows. Some people were saying that this is the same show. I have a feeling this is the same show.
Yeah.
Note how, in the comics, both of these characters are individuals who took up the mantle of Captain America.
What is it with this hand gesture?
What's up with this hand gesture? I don't know. But they're both characters who took up the mantle of Captain America. I would like to think that this takes place after Infinity War, despite the fact that both of them were snapped away. I have a feeling whatever happens to Chris Evans and his contract, he's not coming back, and it's almost like them like living up to the name of Cap.
Yeah. Captain America. That's cool.
Which I would love.
And like they're two characters that naturally like didn't get along at first, but I picture them actually really liking each other over time.
I
like
hope
a very
it's
love-hate relationship.
I hope it's like a Thor Ragnarok where it's like Hulk and Thor and it's just a buddy comedy.
That's what it kind of felt like. I mean, like from what we saw from Civil War, right? So
moving on from Marvel, unfortunately, we're going to Pixar's. Fortunately, we're actually really excited about what they're going to be doing with Pixar. I'm also scared about what they're going to be doing with Pixar in general, because Pixar, for the most part, has been like one of those untouchable brands that just pumps out classic after classic after classic. And then Cars showed up, and then Cars 2 showed up, and then Cars 3 showed up. And
a lot of people really like those movies.
And then classic, and then classic.
Wow. I haven't seen Cars, so I don't know.
Monsters, Inc. is getting their own TV series. We don't know if, like, Sully and Mike are going to be the main characters in that.
Or if it's going to be two other monsters.
We don't know if it's going to be other monsters in general.
Or Boo.
I would love a show about Boo. I think that's actually...
Teenage Boo?
Yes, Teenage Boo, or anything with Boo. I feel like she's such an interesting character, and if you know anything about the Pixar theory, she's probably the most interesting character in the entirety of the Pixar theory.
Why?
Spoilers for everything. But every Pixar movie fits in a timeline. All the way from The Good Dinosaur to Monsters, Inc.
Okay, so why is she the most interesting, though?
She is theorized as being the witch from Brave.
I don't think they'd go into all of that, though, would they?
I think that they might touch upon it if Boo is a main character. The fact there are several reasons to explain this. Actually, Super Carlin Bros just released a video of their updated Pixar theory. You can check that out right over here. That's an amazing channel. You guys should definitely be following that. Just
I love them
in general. They have a really good explanation as to why that is the case. We won't get into it here. Should we make a Pixar timeline? Because that wasn't really a timeline.
Oh, that's a good point, actually.
Should we make a Pixar timeline? I feel like
we should.
I feel like it's...
I don't know why we haven't done that yet, actually. I haven't even thought about it. We have to do that. What are we doing right now? Let's like stop this and go do that.
Monsters, Inc. What do you guys think it's going to be about? We have absolutely no idea. We're literally just throwing out ideas that we would like to see.
I'm watching you, Wazowski. Always watching.
Whew, she's nuts.
So they're doing a High School Musical TV show. From memes, from things I've heard from other people, High School Musical is very popular. I have not watched it. He has not watched it. I've seen like clips, like if Disney was on, I would see like parts of it. I never really cared. I know Sharpay is a character. I thought that was an interesting name.
Anyway, our audience does not care about High School Musical.
We don't know what they care about.
If you care about High School Musical, just let us know in the comment section down below.
So sorry that we don't. Like, I don't really know.
This is supposedly going to be a 10-episode series based on a new cast of characters.
Yeah, like they're not going to get, you know.
And this is supposedly going to be in tandem with High School Musical 4, which is going to theaters and not directly to Disney Play or Disney Plus. Wow, I keep saying Disney Play too.
Disney, just go with Play. We like it better.
Apparently they are going to be remaking several Disney classic films, Disney animation films. The Sword in the Stone, Peter Pan, and Lady and the Tramp. All are classic films. All, I don't know, need remastering or recreating.
Remastering I'm fine with, but recreating, like with a whole new like voice actors and stuff like that, I just don't get it, but whatever.
The rumor is that these are going to be live action, which I don't know how they're going to do that with something like Lady and the Tramp. I don't know how they're going to do it with Lion King, personally, but if they can manage it, then okay, I'm down for it.
They've managed to, you know.
Beauty and the Beast was fantastic.
Yeah, we love that one.
So, and that is my favorite.
And that was
Disney
one
movie.
too that weren't like when we found out, we were like, how are they going to do Beast in a live action film? So they're pretty, you know, they're pretty nifty.
Yeah, so if they can manage that with Sword in the Stone, Peter Pan, and actually Peter Pan is pretty easy to adapt. They've done it
I just
before.
think like in the past, I haven't really enjoyed like a lot of the, you know, live action Peter Pan remakes.
I love Hook though. Hook is great. Anyway,
I haven't seen Hook. One time Dakota and I were having a conversation where he was talking about Hook and I was talking about the other one, and we were both like from two different like planes of existence and not really getting each other, and then we realized, and it was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
that's what happened.
So another like really interesting thing that Disney's doing is making a series called Ink and Paint, and it's basically telling the stories of all the female animators that were like huge parts of their history.
Like the Walt Disney Animated Studios.
Yeah, that were basically like ignored in the past. Interesting concept. It's kind of like, we were totally crappy back then, so here you go. Like now that feminism is cool, like here you go. So that's gonna happen, I guess.
I like to look at it like with a more positive spin. Like this is just an opportunity for them to talk about their history more, because they do have a very rich history. I mean, it's Disney. You can't talk about Disney without it being a rich history.
I mean, if you're gonna go into your history, there's a lot of things that they should bring up that maybe, you know, Disney.
The rest of these titles are adaptions of either previous live action Disney films that they've made or books that they want to make, and one more like original idea that Disney is throwing out.
So books, get it.
They're going to be going into Miguel de Cervantes' 17th century Don Quixote book, which I don't know how that isn't like a really popular movie already. It's one of the greatest books of all time.
And also Dakota's parents' cat is named Sancho Panza, so we have a very personal investment in the success of this film.
Definitely.
If this tanks and then Sancho Panza's name burns in flames.
The good thing about streaming services is that we don't necessarily know if it tanks or not.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Because
we want Sancho Panza's glory to be preserved.
Yeah.
That's all we're saying.
Basically, it's a fact.
The beautiful cat.
There's also the 2013 book adaptation of Kate DiCamillo's Flora and Ulysses that's coming out. I know nothing about this, as well as The Paper Magician by Charlie N. Holmberg that came out in 2014. Both of those books are being adapted to either a live action or an animated film. We don't know at this point.
I think it's interesting that they're doing, you know, new things in general, because a lot of this is kind of building on, you know, powerful things that they've already created. To draw in the people that love those already. So I think it's interesting that they're like, okay, fresh start, like with some of these other projects. And I think that's important for, you know, the success of this concept.
Yeah,
you know?
Flora and Ulysses and The Paper Magician are both like IPs that are relatively new. Like I said, 2013 and 2014. So a lot of people don't know about this kind of stuff. So I think it's an interesting take that Disney's doing on all this. Yeah.
So the other live action remakes that they're doing are Three Men and a Baby, Father of the Bride, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and The Parent Trap.
And Magic Camp, but
oh, I don't care about Magic Cap. The Parent Trap, one of my favorite films for like several years. I actually thought Lindsay Lohan was two separate people. Did not realize she was one until much later in life, like embarrassingly later in life. I don't know if I'm excited or not. It's always made me want to try fencing. Not sure how much fencing is going to be in the new movie, but I hope a lot.
And last but not least, we have Noel, which is a Christmas fantasy adventure about, I think, Santa Claus's daughter, Noel, played by Anna Kendrick.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anna Kendrick is like not a teenager though, so I hope that they don't try to make her a teenager.
Yeah.
Because it would be like kind of funny if it was like Santa's teenage daughter that's kind of like rebelling and like, I hate Christmas.
It could very well be an animated film.
Oh, okay, that would work actually.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But overall, I feel like Disney's really pushing the envelope with what to expect from a streaming service in Disney Plus.
Because these are all like heavy hitters, you know.
Yeah. I don't know about
besides
some of
Magic Camp, because I don't know what that is.
I have no idea. But Disney Plus's obvious biggest competitor is Netflix. Netflix, since Disney has announced their streaming service, has been pushing for more and more like fan favorite content. Recently they've announced a Pacific Rim anime series, which is like the perfect like place for Pacific Rim to like be. I'm not a fan of the Pacific Rim movie series, but that seems like a perfect fit for anime.
Okay.
Also, they recently announced the Avatar: The Last Airbender series, which we haven't spoken about on the show, but we are so excited for a live-action remake.
That's not horrible.
With the actual creators of the show in charge. This is like a fan like dream come true. That's one of the most lasting, I think, like American animated
That is one
cartoons.
of the greatest cartoons of all time.
Yeah,
Prove
definitely.
me wrong. Fight me in the comment section.
Fighter.
Fight me. I love that series. I got Dakota into it. That was one of the few things that I loved before we met up that I got him into. I'm very proud of my love of Avatar. I'm so stoked.
Yeah, it's an amazing series. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Yeah, Netflix is really pushing the envelope of nostalgia and like getting big titles so that they can compete against Disney Plus. But what Disney Plus has on their side is the fact that they have, like we said earlier, they're big on blockbusters.
Yeah.
They have most of the like blockbusters that we see, especially if they get Fox alongside them. That'll give them what, like 40% of like all like movie shares from theaters. That's huge. And a big thing to like note is that when like movies come to digital streaming services, I have a feeling Disney and Fox films will come to Disney Plus first, which is a huge incentivizer for people to.
So you can start rewatching right away.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna start seeing advertisements for. You can get this on this date on Disney Plus, and then later on like streaming. And
That makes a lot of sense actually for them.
that would be huge for Disney. And that's something that Netflix can't really do, because if they just release it earlier, it's not like it's going to theaters.
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
earlier there. So there's no incentive for people to like get that with Netflix. So with Disney Plus, they have the advantage there.
And that's too getting like more direct revenue without having to go through the movie theaters, which we've seen in the past, them making like these crazy rules for movie theaters that smaller theaters can't keep up with. And I feel like they've kind of started to view like the theater experience as a whole as not a waste of their time, but kind of like just based on some of the rules that they've made up, like when The Last Jedi came out, like some of the rules that they had for the theaters, that it was just really difficult for smaller businesses to thrive with. I picture this being their solution to almost that problem in a way too.
I think we should talk a little bit more about that in another video, about like how Disney Plus could potentially change the movie-going scene, because that's a whole nother like conversation.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a direction in general that streaming has been going in for a while, as much as I love going to the theaters, but I know a lot of people that don't and will wait until it comes to their home.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how this is going to all pan out.
Guys, what did you think? What are the titles that you are most looking forward to on Disney Plus? What do you want to see from Disney Plus that they haven't officially announced, or you think that it's going to be on Disney Plus? We'd love to hear all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Apparently, like Disney, like has a more conservative view of when they're going to potentially take Fox at April of 2019, where other places have been saying about January 2019.
Oh.
So it looks like they think that it'll go through.
Okay. How many of you are currently craving buttered popcorn? Is that just me? Like, I'm not pregnant, but I'm like seriously, like I might go and buy movie tickets just to get the buttered popcorn and then return home. I want buttered popcorn really bad right
It's
now.
a movie night. You know?
It's a movie night.
Feels like a movie night.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos just like this. Again, my name is Dakota.
And I am Jen.
Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.
Bye!